Welcome to Leeds United fans. We've had a bit of a break there recently. We've missed a bit of time, but we're back with a bit of a roundup of the last couple of games ahead of the Palace game. And since we've done this last, man, football has just been bananas.
Yeah, um, lots of good results for us.
Yeah.
Some manager sackings that were probably on the cards, but still a bit nuts.
hmm
Frank Lampard back at Chelsea, which is insane. Am I missing anything? I probably am.
Although the biggest ones that were down the bottom for us was the fact that Rodgers left Leicester and they've no manager,
Hmm.
which is a big one for us because we're doing well at the minute, but we're still not out of it by any means.
Oh no,
Palace, I don't know if we've touched on Palace recruiting Hodgson before, but that's another strange one.
it is a
And
bit.
then you've got the fact that Fulham, Mitrovic has got an 8 game suspension, so we don't have to play. He's out of our game, like so.
Yeah,
And Fulham seem to be gone into stagnation mode now, and they've fallen off a lot, like so.
I think they know they're safe.
Yeah, and
Or, or
that's a
they
good thing for us too.
I mean, they probably are safe, but if they were to tank now, they could easily be pulled into it.
They could in theory, but they're too far ahead. They're 9 points clear of Palace.
Yeah, but like I say, 3 or 4. There's still 10 games to go.
Yeah, that's just it, man. It was in a bizarre year. But anyways, we'll touch on the Arsenal game first. A free hit, if ever there was a free hit.
Yeah,
And I like the fact that Gracia tried out new things, like put Christensen in the defensive midfield and role to see how he done there. He started Sinister as a false nine. He's been trying. He just used that game as a completely experimental game, and it was as well off because
we were
we
always going
weren't
to get
getting
beat.
anything out of it.
Nah, I don't know. Like I think 4-1 tells a distorted story as well
Oh yeah,
because up until their first goal, we were the better team, just like
yeah.
we were at Ellen Road. But at the end of the day, the top of the league for a reason.
That penalty, man. What was Alien at? What was he doing, man? Well, his foot was up in the fucking air, man. What was he even thinking? Like,
I didn't see it at first, and then they just showed it from different angles and whatnot. It's like, oh yeah, no, he tagged his knee, didn't he?
he did, yeah. And
Yeah.
to be fair, Jesus seen it and he did run into it. But sure, that's what a good forward is going to do. Like,
It was a weak penalty.
hmm. But
Um,
look at the end of the day, man. We were missing players, and he tried things out. And then the course then against Forest. Well, Jesus, man, that was. I don't know what the hell has happened to Jack Harrison. All of a sudden, he's one of our best players now.
well, it's been recognised. He's just signed a new 5-year deal.
Yeah, it's been crazy, man. The improvement since Gracia came in. He looks reborn out there on the wing again.
I mean, he's always been a good player for us. He's just had a bit of a dip this year. I mean, a lot of them have,
I
but
don't think the system suited him, man. When he's out tugging the touchline, that's where his best position is. Like,
yeah, true.
and the
Um,
play was too narrow as well too under Marsh, and the width is back, and with the width back, we're a totally different outfit.
we are. Apart from the goal, I mean, it was out. We bossed the game.
Oh, completely.
Shouldn't have conceded a goal, but I,
Listen,
I don't care. 3 points.
hmm. Oh yeah, like, and all of a sudden now we're looking like Sinister, man.
Oh yeah,
I've always said it, man. If we can just keep him fit, he's the key to staying up, I believe, because he is absolutely class.
that's the that's the sharpest we've seen him since his first injury.
Yeah, oh, without question, he
He
was
was
just
all
magic,
over him.
and
Great
that
goal,
finish was sublime.
but he was behind or part of almost anything that we created.
Hmm. And Firpo was playing well with him too. Like, I remember that game, that commentator that we were giving out about that commentator during that game, man, the stream we were watching, and he was saying, oh, Firpo is, oh, he's very bad in the final third. His Firpo his delivery isn't perfect, and you're like, he's a left back, you absolute bellend. He's not a forward.
He didn't look too bad in the final third when he scored against Southampton.
Oh, I
Three
know,
points.
but it was just some of these little things that commentator was on about that annoyed us. Like, but
They've got to fill time, haven't they? At the end of the day, I mean, their job is essentially to talk bollocks.
yeah. My favorite one that he said was that Sinistera couldn't get into the team because of Willie Nanto, and I'm like, he's been
No,
injured. He can't play injured players.
he's had 3 injuries.
For fuck's sake. But look at all of a sudden now, out wide now, we've got Sinistera, and then we've got Nanto as an impact player. Because if
Yeah.
we get Sinistera to a state where we can have him for an hour a game, he will do damage.
And the thing is, Gonto is an impact player. That's how Italy play him.
Yeah, so if we have Sinistera starting and then Nanto coming on, and then you've got Harrison on the other side who's becoming undroppable, and then you've got
Aronson's getting better.
Aronson's improving, and you've got Somerville there as well. And now you've got Rodrigo and Bamford now. Like even though Bamford
He
he
does
held up the ball
contribute.
really well for in Forest game.
Yeah, he did. Which where does Rutter fit into this? Our record
Rutter's
signing.
On the fucking that's it till next season.
I just don't see where he fits in. I don't.
But sure, we
Oh,
said from day one, man, what were we doing paying 35 million for a fucking kid in January? Like that was never going to be anywhere near ready for until next season.
I don't understand the mentality behind signing him. I don't understand the thinking.
It was this very strange decision.
I'm not saying he's a bad player. I haven't seen enough of him to call it one way or the other.
Hmm.
I don't think he's what we needed.
No, I'm sure he's going to be a great player for us, and he will come good. But for now, he's just going to be in the background because Gracia obviously has figured out that this is his team now going forward, and Rutter clearly doesn't feature. He
Which is
maybe has an impact sober, but that's about the height of
which would be fine if it had cost 10 million, but he's our record transfer.
it.
It doesn't make sense. Our record transfer can barely get on the pitch.
I know it's a strange one.
And it's not like we kept saying, oh, he's come from Germany, they've had a big break, he's not match fit. That was 3 months ago.
I know. At this stage now, one player I want to touch on from the Palace game, who was my man of the match, was Mark Rocca. He was immense.
Just a rock in midfield.
Oh Jesus, man, that was his best performance I think to date. He was absolutely immense in that game against Forest. He completely bossed the midfield.
I think to be honest, he's one of our favourite new signings.
Oh yeah.
But I think that a lot of the time he goes under the radar because of Adams.
Mm-hmm.
With Adams being injured, he's got the time to shine.
Mm-hmm. And that was McKennie's best game so far too, in my opinion. He was everywhere.
Yeah, he was.
He didn't look like if you didn't really watch the game that closely, it didn't look like he was doing anything. But he covered an awful lot of ground, and he put in some great tackles, and he broke up play, and he was all over the place. I seen a graph of his ball touches over the game, and it was bizarre. He was absolutely, I mean, everywhere. In nearly every part of the pitch, he had touches in. Like,
Yeah. What do you think about the fact that with Wober out injured, that he's using Strike instead of Cooper?
I thought Strike was immense against Forest.
So do I. But what does that mean for Cooper?
Cooper's gone.
Yeah, he must be.
He's reached the end of his time. Like Wober was his replacement, and it's obvious now that Strike is the understudy, and Cooper is just on his way out. Like,
Yeah. It certainly looks that way because he can't even get in the team when there's injuries.
nah, but we all knew he needed replacing anyway.
Shame though.
Oh yeah, he's been a great servant, and he helped bring us up. But time moves on, and if we want to be progressing as a football club, like Liam Cooper, unfortunately, aren't the players for the job.
Is Luke Ayling?
No,
Because he has been a lot better this year.
he's been a disaster the last two games. He really has been a disaster the last two games. But we've got no one else, and well, we have Christensen, but Gracia obviously seems to fancy him in different roles. Like,
He fancies him in midfield by the look of it.
yeah, as a holding midfielder or a player to bring on to shore things up.
2 goals in 2 games for him as well, though.
Mm. And another thing about that commentator that was so much fun, he was there criticizing our style of play. Oh, Leeds should go into game management, and you're like, we done that against Wolves and we were 3-0 up.
Yeah.
And we nearly fucking got caught with it. Like, we're not a team that can sit back and defend. It's just not
No.
in the team's nature. It's not in the DNA.
Look at the fullbacks that we've got. They're not. I mean, Luke Ayling's barely a defender.
Hmm. Firpo is very good at the minute, though.
Oh, he is. He is.
Firpo's a brilliant player of all of a sudden. Not Raka. Uh, Jesus Christ. Uh, Cock has been a newborn. All the players are better under Gracia. It seems he's getting the best out of them.
Oh, he is. I mean, we've said it already. The sacking from Watford was a disgrace,
Made no sense. He took them in relegation and brought them up to mid-table.
and just because they went the first 4 games without winning,
Well,
I
that's
think.
Watford. Sure, look at where they are now. Like,
I mean, if I was to, I mean, I'm not going to, but if I was to go on a laptop and look at that season that he got fired, I wonder which teams had played in those first 4 games.
there you go. It probably would have been tough games or two, I'd say.
I'd say so.
And the plus they'd have the FA Cup hangover as well too, because they got the hammering by City. Like,
Yeah, and that's the real reason he went.
yeah, that was it. That was the nail in the coffin because they didn't win the FA Cup against Man City. Like,
Yeah.
come on.
Works for us.
Yeah, I've noticed that Greenwood isn't getting featuring at all under him either.
No, but then Greenwood's all right. I don't think Jesse March knew where to play him.
I think there was too much faith in putting him, to be honest.
That and his main attribute is crossing.
Yeah,
He's got a good shot on him as well, but he's just not at the moment. I'm not saying he can't be, but he's not at the moment better than the players in there. So why keep bringing him on?
yeah.
He needs to build himself up in the reserves.
No, all of a sudden now we're looking an awful lot better than we were a couple of weeks ago. You know, we've got Palace on Sunday, which is a home game. Liverpool are Jekyll and Hyde, and that's another home game. We've got Leicester at home coming up, who are managerless and seem to be in a free fall.
Absolutely awful at the moment.
And we've got a game against Fulham, who seem to have just gone off the boil completely. But
yeah, it's getting handy because West Ham seem to have imploded. They got absolutely. I mean, don't get me wrong, Newcastle are a good team, but they got tonked, and they were all
by Newcastle. Like 5-1 by Newcastle. Newcastle are one of the lowest scoring teams around at the moment.
Yeah, they're a good team, but they're a defensive team that get the odd goal.
Yeah.
Even the commentator said on the highlights, like after the fourth one, it's 4 soft goals.
Oh, they were schoolboy goals.
Yeah.
Completely terrible defending. Like,
if your goalkeeper's getting rounded by Joe Linton, you've got a problem.
And the board but who are they going to bring in? Like, that's the thing. All of a sudden now everyone is looking for a manager. Like, you know, there's this who's really out there that can make a massive change in this space of time at this stage of the season. Like,
well, they'll do what they always do. They'll just rehash it. So they'll say they sack Moyes, which I think is a mistake, if I'm being honest. They'll hire someone like Rodgers or Jesse Marsh or one of the other ones that's just gone. What do you call it? Patrick Vieira. Patrick Vieira actually probably wouldn't be a bad idea. And they'll it's just like musical chairs.
Yeah.
At least we've gone out there and found someone different. Granted, he wasn't his first choice, but our first few choices were not the right choice.
Like, I remember when Gracia got the job, and a lot of people were critical, but my instant thought was like, yes.
Yeah, I was happy.
If there was ever a manager out there that knows how to take over a team near the bottom and get them safe, he's done it already.
Oh yeah.
And I rated him highly at Watford. I thought he was really good. Like,
at the end of the day, we're 2 points off the relegation zone. We've got 3 wins in his last 6, I think.
Yeah.
6 or 7.
Yeah.
That's not relegation form. And bear in mind, in there we've got the Arsenal game, which was a write-off anyway. I'm sure we've got a draw or 2 in there. Yeah, sure we have. Brighton. We drew with Brighton, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not relegation form.
No, we're definitely not. And Forest, we played them off the pitch like that. I was never anxious at any point during that game after we got the first goal.
I wasn't anxious when they went 1-0 up, to be honest.
It was just they caught us on the hop at the start, but look, they grew into the game, and Gracia, he never lost his cool or anything. Like, where Cooper was making fucking substitution after substitution after substitution and change in the form. Like there was one stage there, they made so many changes in a short period of time, like, and they were under pressure. It was like now they've got to try and figure out how to play and what formation to play because they were all just thrown on. Like it was just madness. Like
Yeah. Um, Wilfred Zaha went off.
he's out for the game.
Yeah, because
He's
that
out.
didn't look good. Because he wasn't even in a tackle. He was just moving the ball and then just went down and
Yeah,
like.
he's out. He's definitely out for Sunday, which is a big one for us because he is their danger man.
See, they've got Elise and they've got Eze, and they're both. I mean, I think they're both really talented,
Oh, there.
but they're young, and I don't think they have the support that they need
Hmm.
in that team. So without Zaha, I don't know. I might be wrong, but that to me, like you say, is a massive, massive component. So we're going into a Palace game without their best player, Fulham game without their best player. Yeah, and Mitrovic is dangerous.
Hmm. Yeah, and like the way Gracia has the team set up now, like it's just you don't worry as much. You know that the like I know Railing has worries at times, but defensively we're a lot more secure than we were going forward. Even now we look at threat, and now we've got options as well too. And Harrison scoring and playing amazingly.
In
Sinisterra back.
in fairness to Jesse Marsh, we've been more solid defensively since January.
Hmm.
That's not a Gracia thing,
Oh, it was Wober
Wilbur thing, exactly.
and Firpo all of a sudden becoming a player.
Yeah, but since Wilbur's been out, I'm discount the Arsenal game. We're still not too bad at the back.
No.
So, yeah, he's doing something right.
Yeah, yeah. It's a it's a strange time to be a football fan because that relegation battle this season this will have to go down in history as the most mental relegation battle in the history of the Premier League. I can't ever see 8 teams been involved in it again.
I want all of us down at the bottom to start picking up points and drag Chelsea into it.
Oh,
That'd be fucking hilarious.
I think Chelsea season now has reached new lows at this point.
I just 400 odd million they've spent. Like, okay, so you've gone and spent 108 million on Enzo Fernandez because he's a World Cup winner. Wonderful. He's a World Cup winner that plays in the Portuguese league. Outside the top four, that is a shit league.
Mm-hmm.
If you wanted an Argentinian World Cup winner, why didn't you go to Brighton and get Alexis McAllister? He's a great player. He knows the league. You'd have got him a lot fucking cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
Then you signed Mudrick, is it?
Yeah,
Shakhtar. Why? For all that money? Never
crazy.
fucking heard of him. Never heard of him.
And
It just,
apparently, apparently, I was saying this to you that your man Bowley, between the overall losses from the previous season, it was under a different regime,
hmm,
and the fact that he's overspent so much, I don't think he truly understood the financial fair play thing. So
no.
there's rumblings now that they can't actually sign players for the next 3 seasons unless they have a big fucking clear out.
With the money that they've spent and the players they've brought in, they shouldn't need to sign anyone.
Yeah,
But
but they don't have a number 9 man.
they don't. They still don't. Well, they've got Lukaku.
Oh, Crew, he's going back. Of course, he's going back. That's obviously what they'll have to do. They'll have to integrate him into the team again because there's
Now,
no way else they can do it.
but before he went to Chelsea, that season with Inter Milan, he
Oh, he's a
was
monster.
he was a monster. You take his penalties out this season, and he's not great. He's basically he's stacking his stats with penalties.
Hmm.
He also got sent off. It kicked off at the end of the first leg of the semi-final Coppa Italia with Inter, and
All right.
I think he's claiming racial abuse, which maybe, but it went nuts. There was loads of sendings off and all sorts.
All
So,
right. So,
yeah, so he's. I don't think he's going to be playing much next few games. But yeah, they're going to have to bring him back and integrate him. But he's just not. It's not going to happen. He's
and they're
not.
not
They're
going to
not
be able
good.
to afford to sign your man either. The fucking Portuguese kid from they got on loan from Atletico.
Oh, João Felix.
João Felix. They're having a hope of signing him now either.
No, which is a shame for him because he doesn't get on with Atletico's manager. There's a
Yeah,
big rift
He's
between
Chelsea's best player.
he is.
That
Ah,
sums up the madness of Chelsea that their best player is a loan signing and they can't afford to bring in permanently.
but the thing is, they bring in strikers and it doesn't work. They brought in Timo Werner.
Mm,
I mean, he was a good striker. He's better in the Bundesliga again now, but he's not as good as he was.
no,
Lukaku doesn't work. When was the last time they had a seriously good striker? Was it Diego Costa, Drogba?
Costa probably.
Yeah, I can't remember anyone else. I mean, they're trying it with Kai Havertz, but he's not a fucking striker.
But anyways, we'll won't worry too much about Chelsea and their plight now. But they could be the ones that have been dragged into the relegation battle, but they won't be. They're not challenging for fuck all. Like
No Europe next year for them.
no, I know. Like that's going to be mad for them. Like
Not even Europa Conference League. Nothing.
the way things are going now, like I think we're in a better position than Chelsea. Look going forward.
Yeah, in terms of overall stability, squad
Exactly.
strength.
Like it's looking increasingly likely like Gracia will keep us up
Yeah, I don't see why he shouldn't.
because
I mean,
Southampton look to be in serious bother now.
yeah, Southampton is they're not overly shit, but they're just not good enough.
Well, they
Like they're
can't
not
score.
going on there and getting hammered every game, but they're just not picking up the points. West Ham,
Forest,
Forest look in trouble. West Ham look in trouble.
Leicester,
Everton in trouble.
Everton are still in there. Leicester are still in there.
Leicester are free falling. Then there's Bournemouth. I mean,
Yeah.
Bournemouth can go either way.
And Palace
I
are
mean,
starting to slide as well.
huh?
Palace, and that's only for they got the win in Hodgson's first game, they'd only be on 27 points.
Yeah, but Palace are still in it. Wolves are still in it.
Yeah.
It's going down to the last game.
Oh,
Without a
for
doubt.
definitely. Yeah, but
But doesn't necessarily mean that we will be in it for the last game. We get a couple of wins together.
if we could get, say, if we could get a win at the Palace and Leicester, that's 6 points, and maybe pick up a few other points along the way.
I don't see why we can't get a point against Liverpool. They ain't all that.
Yeah, realistically, that could be a point. We want at least a point from Fulham away now because they're not what they are. So if we just get a few points here and there and then just pick up a couple of wins, that should be enough at this stage. I know that would only break 8 points more than we are with the two wins, but the way the league is going,
There's so many teams in the mix.
yeah, that's just oh, that's a crazy season, man, isn't it? It really is a crazy season.
Yeah, it really is.
Well, I'm looking forward to the game on Sunday now. Anyway, I I'm going to predict a win.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Home against Palace. Yeah, they got who did they beat at the weekend? It wasn't anyone good.
Oh shit, who was it? Can't remember.
I'll have a ganders. All teams, Crystal Palace. Oh, it was Leicester.
Oh, of course it was. Of course it was. Yeah, another team that are in fucking dire straits as well. Like the one
Yep.
that caused Rogers to walk. Of course. Not to walk. I think he was pushed, but
See, Leicester, it's a surprise with Leicester. I mean, they've got some very good players. Harvey Barnes is a good player.
team
I
is
think,
stale, man.
yeah, maybe.
And it's gave Jamie Vardy a big long contract at the start of the season, and he's finished.
He is, but I think there's a lot of loyalty behind. I think him and Leicester are just intertwined,
Mm.
like, because he has been very loyal to them.
Oh, true, but they've let go of key players and they haven't really replaced them, and there's players all leaving now and everything. So,
Casper Schmeichel went to Nice and they didn't replace him. They just bumped Ward up.
but the problem with Leicester was at the start of the season, their wage bill was 103% of their turnover.
Oh dear. Hence why Schmeichel had to go.
That's why that fire sale started.
Ah, well, they're paying for it.
They are paying for it, and we've been lucky in the regard that we got Grassy in at the time we got him. I
Hmm.
know he's currently not he's sidelined, but Wober has been a fucking monster.
Yeah, he has.
I know Adams is currently sidelined too, but he's been a great player, and McKennie really looked at the player he can be against Forest.
But
Rocket was
it
literally a
seems
rock.
it seems that we have players to cover these players, which means later in the season when they come back, it's an added boost.
Yeah, exactly. And as we touched on earlier, now on the left we've got Sinister and Nanto. Like that's a great duo to have because you want to rotate them because Sinister, as we've figured out by now, can pick up injuries.
Mm,
So the
yeah,
last thing we want to be doing is playing him for 90 minutes. I'd like look going forward. I'd like to see Gracia just play him for an hour and Nanto for half an
yeah,
hour.
yeah, absolutely.
Keep them both happy. And then on the other side, Harrison is going to start.
Yeah,
And even though people are saying Rodrigo over Bamford, I think Bamford holds up the ball well.
he does, but but Rodrigo scores goals.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, I know it's a strange one. It's a dilemma, all right. But
I mean, he's our top scorer by a long way. You can't really keep him out.
no, and he's only come back from injury too, so he's.
Yeah,
But look at as we said it before. Hopefully now coming into these games, and of course, Forest was one of the biggest ones straight away. The players are coming back at the right time.
yeah.
We've got the right manager.
We've got the right fixtures.
We've got the right fixtures. You know, things are all of a sudden looking a lot more rosy in the camp than they were a few weeks ago.
I just can't. Out of all those 8 teams, I can't see us being one of the three that goes down.
To be honest with you, man, I'm actually very relaxed about it now compared to where I was because we've got enough quality now all of a sudden.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because Sinistera, man, it just goes to show how much we missed him.
It does. Here's a question for you: has anybody ever won the Premier League and then got relegated? I
Leeds
know
nearly
that.
done it in '92.
No, it wasn't the Premier League. It was the old First Division.
Oh, it was the old first division, and obviously they didn't get relegated, but they nearly did.
Didn't? Oh yeah, we did nearly.
It
Yeah,
was very close, man. It was like winning the
that was.
first division and then nearly got relegated the following season.
I remember that. Yeah, yeah. But no, that was. Oh yeah, so we'd have got relegated if we had. That would have been the first. Yeah, that would have been the first year of the Premier League because we
Yeah,
won the last old Division One. So
yeah,
had anyone ever won it and got relegated? I know Man City have been down there, but that was before they won the titles.
yeah.
Now, so Leicester have got the chance to claim that record, and they're looking like it as well.
Well, Blackburn actually.
Oh fuck yes, Blackburn.
Blackburn, no, they've got somebody's
Oh,
already beaten them to
of
it.
course. And
Yeah,
they've never got back.
huh?
And they've never got back.
And they're in the playoffs, but it's looking.
I don't think they'll come up.
Nah.
I think Middlesbrough will come up in the playoffs.
I
Chuba
hope.
Atkins turned into an absolute fucking goal machine.
I'd love it if Luton came up.
I would love it if Luton came out. I
They'd
would.
go straight back down, but I'd love if they came up.
Because they've got no budget.
Oh God, no!
They'll
The
do another
stadium is
contract.
tiny.
Yeah, I don't know like that. I would. Um, but no, I think Chuba Akpom, fucking hell. When did he get good?
I'm telling you, man, this has been one of the most bizarre seasons in football in a very, very long time.
Yeah. I
Like, who would
think,
have thought Bayern had sacked their manager and bring in Thomas Tuchel? Like,
and then get knocked out of the German Cup by Freiburg at home. At home. Freiburg have never won there.
oh, it's a mad year. It's a mad year. Anyways, we'll leave it at that for this one. And like, share, and subscribe. And we'll be back after the Palace game. Thanks very much. Cheers.